Yeah, I have the last part. That's good because they explained a lot, so I can miss some stories. But of course, I have to tell a lot of stories, so I have to educate myself to be short enough that you can have some drinks later. So I'm Simon from Mercedes-Benz.io. And I want to talk about the cultural API between a holacratic organization and a classical hierarchy, because that's a big topic for us. We started some years ago as a startup from scratch, and we decided to use holacracy. Since the last year, we are 100% subsidiary of Mercedes-Benz. And that creates a lot of topics and questions. And tensions, of course, yeah. Yeah, of course. And because of that, it's very interesting for us to have a look if there are some interfaces, some methods, some processes. What can we do to integrate, to collaborate with the other organizations? So that's what I wanted to show to you today. First of all, something about me. I also have a lot of roles. I'm an educated designer, by the way, and I'm really working in design projects for several products. But I also have the already mentioned role as an advocate. We have a company advocate. I have a lot of design and concept roles. We have Holacracy ambassadors. That's the role I'm here today. I'm a facilitator. It was already mentioned that there is a role as a facilitator and so on. And there you see the products I'm working actually in, so you can ask me later more. So something about our company. I go quick. So we're founded in Stuttgart 2015, and we decided to use holacracy. So we were 5 people.
Do you know why?
Yes. Was strongly related to your company, yes. With Melanie and so on, yeah, of course. That's a big family, by the way, yeah. So 2016 we had been 30 employees, then we started a location in Berlin, then we had 19, so it was last year that the Daimler AG buys Synteo. Formerly we were named as Synteo, now we are Mercedes-Benz.io. And that's a very interesting because we are now part of the so-called joint operations that we can work together with the people from the Daimler AG because of policy and legal reasons and FAK, you know, Fremdarbeitskräfte, ANÜ and all that things. So they have to sign some contracts that they can work together with us. It's also called a framework light because we have to obey some rules and some policies brought in from the Daimler AG. That's very interesting. But they still wanted us to be autonomous and to, well, continue with our experiment. So we founded another location in Lisbon. That's the place I like the most, and I try to be there every week. And now we are about 180 people, and we will be around about 250 people at the end of this year. So what are we doing? A quick overview. We are also working in Scrum teams, Agile teams, and we are doing a lot of different products. We call it products. We're responsible for, well, almost all the websites from Mercedes-Benz worldwide. For example, if you go to mercedes-benz.de or .pt for Portugal, of course, or for Brazil, it's almost done by us. So it's the concept, the design, it's maintained and developed with AEM, with Adobe Experience Manager. We do the configurators, the vehicle searches, we are setting up the shops and do a lot of e-commerce and so on. So, the interesting thing is about how can we merge waterfall, agile, responsive and all that things together. And therefore I want to show you something. So, I have slides that are a bit more complicated than others. Okay, we started 2015 with a fully independent organization. And there was a Daimler AG on the right side. It was a big colors for us. We didn't know them, but it was only black. And we had some people, these are the representatives. We were only allowed to talk with that people. We didn't know what's behind the organization. So we started our little projects. There we have that role model you saw before in Glassfrog, and we had a lot of suppliers outside. For example, that's you. That's Netcentric, because it had already a role model. Others didn't have. And then 2016, we came closer to the Daimler AG, and we started to know more about the organization, and we started to meet a lot of people who are working with us together in products. We get a lot of products, more products, but the number of suppliers is reduced. In 2017, the DAG started to build swarms. It's a kind of a responsive model they have, and they have swarm leads, and all the swarms are related to a topic or to a product. We did the same in our organization. So we started to exchange with that swarm organization, with the swarm leads and the swarm cells, and some people responsible for operational work there. The number of suppliers is one more time minimized. And then it became really interesting. 2018, we started to take them out of the organization, some people from the Daimler AG, and we've integrated them in our holacracy system and in our, well, responsive organization model. So they got roles in holacracy. The Daimler AG people got roles so that we can exchange with them and that they can collaborate with us. That looks, well, some examples for that. The integration of the DAG colleagues was done because we created new roles for them inside our organization, and we assigned them the roles. We did the same with some suppliers. We have a role that is called company advocate, and we have the holacracy ambassadors, which have the task also to train the people from the Daimler AG to holacracy and to our organization. We have a frequent big sprint change. That's very interesting. It takes place one time in the year, and together with all the people, with Daimler AG, with the suppliers, and with our organization. And we are about to develop dedicated escalation roles. It's not so far away from the end. For example, this is a typical role we've created for the people from the Daimler AG. It's the so-called cross-link joint ops commerce. And this role is assigned, I have to strike through, to a Daimler employee. But he's part of our organization and takes part with the decisions. He's visiting our tacticals and our governance meetings and is fully able to join our work. And of course, you've heard about the purpose and about accountabilities, and they have also accountabilities which serve to that purpose. For example, being the connection between the circle at MBIO and the swarm at the DAG. So it's a question of defining the accountabilities for that people. We have project managers, accessories. That's the name of the role, by the way. And they are from suppliers, and they also got accountabilities. We've introduced the company advocates. That was really important because we learned that while the Daimler AG tends to assimilate other subsidiaries. So we thought about how can we prevent our culture, and therefore we've created that role. It's the company advocate, and the purpose is to safeguard the Mercedes-Benz IO principles, culture and values and so on. And he has dedicated accountabilities, which means that we have to work with the Daimler AG and the colleagues to convince them that it is the right way what we're doing and that they can support us. Anchoring, yeah, okay, like that. And we do a lot of frequent trainings and events. We have 8 people which have the holacracy ambassador role, And they're doing a lot of events, of trainings for the new people, of onboarding, Holacracy for Rubbernecks, for example. It's also for the people from suppliers and the DAG, that they understand how we work. We are also responsible for executing frequent surveys with the people. We do a lot of surveys, and we have also 360-degree feedbacks for our employees, which is related to the salary, by the way. Interesting question. And the Holacracy ambassadors are some kind of a service counter for all the employees. It's kind of Radio Erivan. I love that. That's the big sprint change. This year we've rented the stadium in Stuttgart, the football stadium. Is what was really interesting. And we are together for 2 days with all the suppliers and the people from DAG, and we make a big retro. We make a retro as you do it in a Scrum team. And we make a planning and a refinement, but together with 200, 250 people. Dedicated escalation roles, that's a new idea. A lot of times we are asked by the people from Daimler, who's responsible, who can I approach because I have an escalation topic. So I want to talk to your chief, to your manager and so on. And we say, we don't have. So what's your topic? Well, the stakeholder says, I don't like the blue button. Happens a lot of times. So address yourself to the UX designer. Talk to the UX designer. And he will explain why we did that. There's no one else to explain it. It's the best role to explain why we did it. Or the E, it's for the level, the E2, 3, E1s, not often appear in our office, but E2s sometimes, E3 a lot of times. They have questions like that. Why does it take so long? So that's a question you can address to the product owner, and because he's responsible for the prioritization in the product. Okay, the enterprise architect from Mercedes-Benz, they have roles like that. Says we urgently need to solve that impediments with the backend system, so we have an IT consultant which is responsible to answer these questions. And he says, okay, we have it to do it together, so let's set up a little project. So that's a short view on our organization and our work. So for us, it's very, very important that we don't stop adapting Holacracy. We are always adapting. We change it. We change the organization every 2 months, really completely, with new circles, new roles. And so therefore it's well, a lot of things I can mention more, but feel free to approach me if you have some questions, or let's get in an exchange. Thank you.
We brought Holacracy to you, and now we learn from you how to integrate to big companies. I'm looking forward to that exchange. Thank you.
Yeah, to be honest, it's difficult, the process, because we call it post-management trauma. We have a lot of people, at the Daimler AG, they want to manage us. And we have to explain that we don't want to be managed. We are self-organized. And that takes a lot of power. And some of our colleagues are about to resign. They say, I don't have the time to explain it one more time and so on. But we have to win that. And we are very thankful that you brought us to Holacracy. Yeah.
So I'm interested in this 360-degree survey and how it is connected to the salaries. And additionally, I'm interested if you hire people, what is written in their contract? Because you don't have a job description as it's usual and as it's if it's known for, in the Tarifpartei. So how you manage that?
Yeah, you've mentioned one of the most important topics. First of all, 360-degree feedback. It's a feedback every employee can ask for in his role, and he decides which of the colleagues in other roles can give that 360-degree feedback. And then we have a role, it's called the talent officer. And the talent officer is responsible for the salaries. And together with the advocate and the talent officer and the 360-degree feedback, we have kind of a, well, let's say, discussion about raising the salary or not. But the process is about to begin. We have a big issue about career paths, actually. You're much more advanced there. We are also talking about badges to have skill levels to estimate people. That's really a big issue, actually. Regarding the hiring or the recruiting, it's like that. Every one of us has a core role. So, for example, my main role is to be an expert in brand design. And if we have job applications or offers on our website, it's written in a classical way. We are looking for UX designers, so we are looking for main roles. But if we do the interviews with the people, we learn about a lot about the people, and we see, hey, they have different abilities, and we motivate them to go out of their core role to look for other roles they can work for. So, for example, I'm an admin too. I'm an IT admin because I'm interested. I'm a designer and an IT admin. What stupid, but I like to do that. And yeah, it's a big process where we're in, actually. Maybe I forgot something. Yeah.
You mentioned at the end that you change cycles or organization every few months. So I mean, it's not changing for the sake of changing. It's I guess for improving. Yeah. But why do you change that often? Because if you work like purpose-driven or working on things IT-based, change so often that you have to change the cycles. And is it not like organizations that with every change, people adapted it and then you lose a bit power and so on when changing?
Well, not everybody is happy about that, first of all. Second, we are growing very fast, and that means that we have to adapt the structure. For example, if we have a circle and we create sub-circles, then you have a lot of people, rablings, leadlings, and so on, which are in the super circle above. So that leads to the point that meetings become big and a lot of people attending. So we try to cut it and to reorganize us. Second is that our product portfolio is constantly changing. And we want to reflect that in our organization. For example, actually we're doing a lot of user research. So we've created a circle called the Insight Factory. And then we had the idea to implement these roles into other circles, into the product circles, that they really have to work with the Insight Factories, because that's a key metric of our company, that we are always analytic-driven, data-driven, and everything we do has to be approved, confirmed. So that, because we change a lot the way we work, and we have new products, we have new ideas, that means that we have to change our organization. We are used to that. It's not so dramatical. First of all, you have the people in the circles who have tensions, and they can, well, tension must be solved, but mainly these are little tensions related to your daily work. But for example, if you need to restructure the organization or circles. So you go to the super circle, and there people have also tensions. And they say, so we have to restructure that. But it's always a decision of the circle, a decision like that. You need to know the process, how a governance takes place. It's not so much a decision, it's more, you can do everything which does not harm the company. Safe enough to try is the other way to solve it. But it's not like that the managing director decides, so we restructure the organization. That's not possible.
But is it always the whole cycle that agrees then on it?
No.
Democratic or how?
No. It's not a Stuhlkreis.
It's not about consensus. Holacracy is not about consensus. It's about solving things and getting things done. And is it safe enough to try? Is enough. So even if you don't like it, you do it. Because you can change it next day.
There is a special process in that governance meetings based on objections you can have. And if a proposal someone does is not harming the company, then you can do it. So if someone decides we will not try to be the digital champion for the automotive industry and will start to be a Dönerbude and it does not harm the company, you can do that. It's extremely over. Yeah.
So when changing the roles so many times, how do you ensure that the knowledge doesn't get lost? Because I mean, when people are just like rotating the whole time and there's a new person taking over the job, how do you make sure that the knowledge doesn't get lost or the expertise of that person?
First of all, we have a huge Slack with a lot of channels where things like that are communicated. Second, we have a weekly tribe space meeting where things like that are also mentioned. And it's also the task of people being self-organized and looking for information. So if you work a lot of times, for example, with Glassfrog, that's the software around Holacracy, and if you need something, you have a question, so you search in Glassfrog for keywords, and then you see, the accountability is there in that role, It's not so important to know who actually has the accountability. Especially, it's not necessary to know which person has the role. It's more about finding the accountability that you need and then to approach the people. So it's not always necessary that you know what changes. It's necessary that you find someone who to whom you can approach with your tensions.
Doesn't that slow down the whole process if you have to like look for that person like each and every time?
No.
And then the other thing when you mentioned tribe meetings, so does it mean that you're required to attend every single tribe meeting if you belong to a certain group or like a certain circle? Because then I imagine you'd be sitting like the whole day in those circle meetings because you belong to so many different circles.
We try to abandon that. Reducing roles, simplifying circles, having clear accountabilities, less circles, less structure. It depends. We have a weekly training center, and we had a company from the Netherlands. They even had roles for feeding the plants. Yeah, and it depends on you how you organize yourself.
And it's important that it's up to you if you join a tactical or not. If you don't have attention and nobody has attention with you, you don't need to go. So the meetings are so efficient. There is no blah blah anyway. So there is nothing that you miss when you are not attending. It's just to get things done, right? And so it's not a problem of over meetings.
Have you ever joined a meeting, a tactical or a governance meeting? Okay, because we have a sandbox. No, it's not this evening, but I do it a lot of times with new colleagues, that we have kind of a sandbox that's a virtual company, and we play around, that people learn how a tactical works. And the tactical has a very, very clear process, the meeting. So you have a check-in, and then you have you look for the checklist items of the week, of the month, then you have metrics you look at, then you have projects in the circle, and then you have an agenda where people can put the tensions, and it's clearly defined how you can talk to each other. It's not allowed, for example, to have crosstalk in some situations. You have a place where you can discuss, and you have a place or a space where you only have, you can mention your objection or something like that. It's very structured, the way meetings take place. I was not a friend in the beginning, but meanwhile I love it because it's really effective.
So everything is about efficiency. How do you make sure that there's an interpersonal connection between your team members?
We love each other.
Very last question. Yeah, actually, the question goes back to all three presentations a little bit. All have mentioned they have governance and governance meetings, which on first hand sounds a little bit old-fashioned and contradictory to self-organization. Can you elaborate a little bit on let's say, on this circle or community and the tasks and the duties that are done in such governance meetings?
I think it would be nice if you give an answer.
The governance actually from the name sounds a bit old-fashioned, but it's a very simple and structured way to change your organization if you sense a tension that there is a need to create a new role or something. Then you start a governance meeting, you invite the people, like in any other meeting. Then you start with a check-in round. And actually the tension is presented by the person who has it. And then there is a very specific process going around the circle, around the table, of how to, first you ask questions, then the guy who has the tension responds. He has a proposal of how to solve his tension, and you ask the questions until you're clear, until you understand it. It's not commented or anything. And then you can raise an objection if you have something, and the objection is only valid if it is harming your own role or the company. And any other objection is not valid, and then you do what the presenter actually did present to you. So it's a very good way to understand what the idea was and to accept basically that it is changed the way he wanted it. And this is done in every circle. And if the circle is not able to find a role or any thing for that, you would raise attention in the circle above or in another circle, and these guys then do the governance and change and adapt. So it's not the way as you may be thinking that the whole organization completely is restructured permanently. It's done in small pieces and in small changes, and very, very seldom a big circle is deleted and another one is created. So you don't feel when you enter the room in the morning on Monday that the organization is completely different to what it was on Friday. You had that. We have it once in a while as well, but in normal cases it's small changes, and so it doesn't feel as dramatic maybe.
Have in mind also that you don't even need to have a governance meeting. You can just write a proposal using the glassbook. Everybody from the circle gets an email. They can either say no objection, and then or just say nothing, and if there is no objection, enough time passed, then proposal is automatically accepted. Only if someone has objection, then we have a go to the meeting, and then it's also very difficult to object.
Or you can share the 2 slides of supposed meeting, so there's like a checklist, how you do in the meeting, so the facilitator can use it. It's 2 or 4 pages, but you can share it, then you know.
Yeah, just if you go to Holacracy org, there is a constitution there, and there is also this like meeting cards.
Yeah, and
If you're interested, I can show you later because I have it on my laptop.
Between self-organization and structure. It isn't like that in self-organization you have less structure. Actually, you
very detailed process, how to make decisions. And in classical organizations, it's more like we have these big regulations, a lot of text, and we hope people follow them.
Is this then also the basis for any accepted certification like ISO, or do we need to have that at all?
To use holacracy?
Yeah, I mean, is it a basis, valid to get any certifications for, like we usually tend to get some ISO or something?
That's an interesting question.
Is this a total no-go for holacracy organization?
I think it would be possible, but it's an interesting discussion to see if it would be possible to get ISO certified. But I think it's possible because the structure is a lot better than in traditional organizations. All of our roles are perfectly described. So everybody knows exactly what he does. And show me a traditional organization where this is the case.